So I just got home an hour ago, and it's got to be 80 something outside. Maybe even 90. Like it's dogged outside. So I've been gone all day. I'm tired. I'm always tired because of the medication, and I'm always sweaty because, well, gee, thanks, Mom and Dad. So with that, no preamble. This video. Let's just get to the plastic, shall we? This one was a little strange because I was tracking the package. I ordered it last Friday, I think, and today's Thursday, so it took a little over a week. And it was a 2 to 5 day shipping, which is nice because I live on the west coast of the United States. Anyways, I was tracking the package through email. It went from the shipping department in wherever in Japan. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it. It went from Japan to Vancouver, British Columbia. Okay. So, it did the 12-hour flight or whatever it is, and then, okay, they're going to fly it south to SeaTac or Boeing Field. It went from Vancouver, BC to Memphis, Tennessee. So this package literally, not only did it cross an ocean, but it crossed a continent. Why? Like FedEx, like what? And the guy who delivered the package, he said he just retired from the military. He'd been in for 24 years. It's like, I'm not going to complain to him, So I shook his hand and I said, thank you for your service, as I do with all military personnel, of course, including my own dad, by the way. I shook his hand and I said, thank you for your service. There was something up here that prevented me from going. I couldn't serve, so, this is as close to actual combat as I'm getting anytime soon. But anyways, like, I couldn't bring myself to ask the guy, why the fuck did it go all the way to Tennessee and then come back to Seattle? Like, what, like, I know it's 2 to 5 day shipping, and maybe it was cheaper to fly it, it's like one of those red eyes, that cheap flights or whatever it is, that you like in 2014, I've got a shirt that says 2014, whatever it is, I flew from Seattle to St. Paul, Minneapolis, and then I flew down to Chicago because it was actually cheaper. Rather than a direct flight, it was actually cheaper to, take a detour. So whatever. So maybe that's the case, but, it was only a diversion of like 1 hour flight, an extra hour's flight time, whatever, with a connecting flight, whatever. But this thing took an entire day to go from Canada to East Coast USA back to West Coast USA. Huh? And then it took another day to go from Seattle to Bellingham to where I live. Whatever. Like, okay, you want to ship it from Seattle to Bellingham, whatever, but like, Memphis, Tennessee? Why did this go all the way over there? Did I not just get through saying I wasn't going to do a preamble because I was too tired? I guess I just need a good old-fashioned rant to get myself worked up again properly and get some energy instilled. Maybe that's what I should do for getting myself in the reviewing mode again, is, because lots of people are still asking to this day, Ava, are you ever going to review again? Well, I sure as hell am not going to shoot from right here, because there's all that shit in the background over there, Like, I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to shoot on this thing. Like, I need a plain, blank background, and I also need a tabletop of some kind that's not slanted, so things are slipping all over the place, as they frequently do. So, there's that. That's a big issue. And I also need a better camera, so, because, like, I've had this since 2004-ish, I want to say. That's how old this camera is. And I got it secondhand from a guy who is no longer with us, by the way. Why did I bring that up? Yeah, maybe that's what I should do to start my reviewing again. I should go through an in-camera rant or something like that, and then I'll have the energy to actually review something for a change. Why am I opening this upside down? You're a strange person, Ava. Why'd you tape it to the actual box? Boo. Boo, I say. That is a nice graphic. I like that. It's got the stats of the individual Ho-Oh machines down here, so that's nice. We've got Ho-Oh Station, Ho-Oh Voyager, this is the actual Voyager, and Ho-Oh Base. I think just to prevent myself from sounding like Santa Claus, you know, ho 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 versus ha ha ha, the whole politically correct thing, I think I'm just going to say Phoenix instead of Ho-Oh, just to, you know, save myself. So anyway, we've got Phoenix Station, Phoenix Voyager, and Phoenix Base. But Bandai, that is a really, really nice picture right there. I do like that. That's very nice. That's very well done. That's cool. I kind of wish this had been on the front. Well, it kind of is. Okay. Is it Gigant or Gigant Phoenix? You know, I wonder if I'll sell these someday. Get rid of these Q-Ranger toys. Like, maybe it'll finally, like, the thrill, like, in the heat of the moment in 2017, I was like, oh yeah, these are kind of neat. But I also know that they're block formers. Not really parts formers. No, they're not parts formers, but they're definitely block formers. And it's limb swap in the extreme. But, like, when the thrill of 2017 is over and I look back on it like a year and a half later, am I going to be like, I'm done with it? I'm not saying I am at that point, I'm just wondering out loud, will I reach that point? A number of people have said, rightly so, Ava, this toy line is so stupid, and compared to the things they've done in the past, why are you falling for it? I don't know, they look neat. It's kind of, this is heavy, by the way. Ah, crap, I just realized these don't come with batteries. I hope I've got what I need. Oh! The swords are PVC, but the panels here, should I call them solar panels? Solar power panels? The panels here are made of ABS. I've heard a number of people complain that the swords, are these Ho-Oh swords? No, that's the Phoenix swords, or whatever these are called. I think for the time being I'll call them Phoenix swords. That people complain that these pop off real easily. I'm inclined to believe they're right, because they just peg on there strictly with friction. Even if it is PVC, that's the setup for later on. I thought it would be as simple as just you turn this and set it up like that, but I might have to get out the instructions in order to orient myself on that correctly. Don't get me wrong, it's a very easy transformation, just attaching those, I'm a little confused. More to the point, why do these come apart? Anyone? Safety reasons, I suppose? I suspect that's the second of many times that will happen. Obviously Mega Ranger. Then Go-Go 5. I'm trying to think of actual, like, space-themed stuff that Super Sentai's put out since Mega Ranger. Because there's the Plesiosaurus, or whatever it is, from Kyoryuger, what was that, 2-3 years ago? There's that. But that was a rocket ship that was animal-themed, so that kind of doesn't count. Although it kind of does, because technically it's a spaceship, so whatever. I don't think, whatchamacallit, Voyager, I don't think that counts. Like, even though they're angels, I never saw the show, so I don't know the details. I don't think any of their mecha, even, not gonna say great, but, what was the big wedge-shaped thing that was about this big? The big triangle. I don't think that counts as a spaceship. I think it's just a thing that can fly. Deca Ranger is technically Special Police Deca Ranger, not Space Patrol Delta, as they like to have you think. Well, yeah, I guess it would be. The Deca Wing Robo was space-themed mecha, so, okay. Magi Ranger, no. Voyager, oh. No, Voyager didn't have any, not unless you count Go-Go Voyager. Or no, what was it called? Die Voyager. When it, in the very last episode, was refit with rocket engines, which it had never used before, just for a sight gag, just so they could throw it up in space, and it was a stupid finale, let's be fair. So, okay, Die Voyager, that doesn't count. Wow, there's only 2 pegs holding this together. Huh. I thought it would have been stronger than that, or more than that. I do like the side detail, though. There's a hydraulic jack right there. There's tractor wheels. There's kind of sort of gantry mobile crane shit happening in here. Random techie piston right there for some reason. Where was I? It's not Magi Ranger. It's not Voyager. What was after Voyager? Geki Ranger. Go-Onger. Except Go-Onger had, they had the Go-On, not the Go-On wings, but the, I guess it would be. The, Jum Whale was not a rocket, he was a jumbo jet, obviously. There's Jetras and Torriptor, but those are a helicopter and a jet, respectively, so. I mean, they all came from, all the engines came from another planet, but they didn't fly through space, and they weren't considered space vehicles, so. And none of the repaints from that season did it either, so. Go-Onger, Geki Ranger. Here's where my memory starts getting vague on which show is which. Does it or doesn't it? It does not. Alright, I gotta go get some batteries. Alright, be right back. Wow. These batteries are dated December 2026. 2026. Is the United States even going to be around at that point? I like to think it would. I don't know. With all the random rocket missiles that are going to be going through the air pretty soon here, and the mockery of them. It's a depressing world we're living in right now, depressing times. Much as I'd love to ignore it, I don't like what's happening. But I mean, what exactly can I do about it, you know? Hey, I should go get into politics, or I should become an ambassador, or maybe I should go join the military. That might work. Hashtag taking medication for depression. Ah, hidden trigger on the side here. Hashtag not so hidden trigger on the side there, the little gray thing right there. Here we have the Ho-Oh Voyager. I'm sorry, the Phoenix Voyager. Which looks like a rocket ship, I guess. On-off switch, speaker, buttons. Nice big rocket engines on the bottom. The wings are both PVC and ABS. Kind of wish these secondary blasters or whatever, I kind of wish they'd pulled out to form a little delta wing or something. But since they're attached to the thigh, I guess I didn't have room for it. Maybe they could have put them up here. And I'll say it right now, I'm not convinced that that's not the face of Gigant Phoenix. Because, like, really the only difference is that and that. And really, it doesn't look all that different. And you could be forgiven if you forget to actually raise the thing or forget to put it back down again. Because it's such a little change. It's so minor detail. I don't even like it doesn't even look like a face. Like, they're trying to do like the whole Gundam thing, the chin or the beard or whatever it is. They're trying to do that, but it's just, it doesn't work. And yeah, I know it's trying to be a cockpit from, you know, from this angle or whatever, but like, just, I wish that the wing pattern, the feathered wings have been black, to match the visor, which it very much is. And then the kind of cockpit windows had remained this. This is actually dark blue. It's actually a very, very dark blue, fuzzy and all that. But then you've got these cheek guards that are also dark blue. So it's kind of confusing. Like, where's the cockpit? Where's not the cockpit? I don't get it. So I'll be honest. I don't like the head design on Gigant Phoenix. It's not one of my favorites. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't pop it, or it wouldn't hold into place, but it just slides in and out. Whatever, it doesn't need to. It'd be nice if there was like little indents in the bottom here, so you'd actually set it in there. It wouldn't have to latch necessarily, just something to prevent it from slipping around. That would have been nice. Whatever. Oh, cute, Tama. Well, it's actually harder to, this one's actually, the pattern is actually broken up better on this one than it is on some of the other Q-Tamas. It's actually difficult to understand what this is when you flip it over, because usually it's kind of like looking at, looking at a face that has, or looking at an object that's only being lit from one side and then the opposite side is in shadow, so you only see about half the details. That's usually what the Q-Tamas look like when you flip them around. But in this case, just because it's a little difficult to understand that that's a Phoenix, when you flip it around, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So this one actually gets good marks in my book for being obscured better than most of the others. Most of them, not all of them. Alright, let's do it. Whoa, where's his head? It's almost like they didn't print his face pattern or something. Presumably it just cycles over and over. Sounds like something out of a video game. Listen to this. I wonder how long it'll go like that. It'll go about that long. So it's about 30 seconds. It should only have been about 4 times, but that thing cycled quite a bit. It sounded like I was listening to like something out of Command and Conquer or something, real-time strategy, just kind of generic background, whatever. I betcha, and I totally can't read any of this, by the way, unless they're pictures with arrows or whatever. But I betcha, just like Kirino, this also doesn't tell you when the battery is left on. Yeah, I really wish that there was something, not a peg that would hold, so you could like hold it upside down. I'm not looking for that. Just little an indent where the edge of the thruster, the edge of the engines are. It's just something that prevents it from sliding around. Is that so difficult? Apparently. I don't know which way to point these stupid things. They do ratchet every 45 degrees. It's just they're set at a very weird angle. So does it matter which way I tilt them? No, I don't think it does. That's going to be a thing, those swords falling off. It's going to be a thing. I can feel it. See what I mean? It's a nice idea, hiding the swords in there. It very much reminds me of how the swords were integrated into the Time Shadow Megazord. You know, it's the same kind of feeling. I think that's what they were trying to aim for. And there was also the, let's see, Kyoryuger's Tridno. There's that one. That was kind of neat how they integrated the swords into that. Did they have swords? Oh yeah, they were the under the arm blades. Those were kind of neat too. So I think that's what they're trying to do. So the wings are perpetually slanted. Always, 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 no matter which way you turn them. They're always, always going to be tilted. I can't decide if I like that or not. And then they ratchet to these positions. By the way, it hasn't made any noise in the last, 3 or 4 minutes it took me to assemble this. So, I think it's safe to put this away at this point. Let's just hide it back here so you don't notice I haven't put it away. No, 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 no. You're telling me I have to wait for this thing to launch every single time? You've got to be kidding me. So if this stops, you have to go through the whole sequence all over again. You have to press the buttons all over again. Even Kirin or Shishi Voyager didn't have that problem. What the hell? Crap. I done goofed. I goofed. I accidentally hit the button. That's a really inconvenient place for that button, by the way. Ah. Wait, that's it? Oh. You know, I said earlier one could be forgiven if you forget to raise the thing. Well, please forgive me, I forgot to raise the thing. And here is Gigant Ho-Oh. With incredibly stumpy arms. I'm going to say it right now. Why didn't they have an extending arm feature? Because, like, these don't even come up to, like, the knees, wherever the knees are located. I don't know. It's all blended together. But, like, these are incredibly stumpy arms. Legs are nice and long and whatever. Those ratchet individually. But they don't snap together. They just ratchet individually. Whatever. But it would have been nice if there had been some kind of transformation. The way these are sloped, they slope inwards. This right here, it slopes inwards. So what bothers me, why couldn't you have had, like, have the whole forearm just flip around 180 degrees and then fold out the fist? Instead, you've got this incredibly exposed thing over here. More on this in a moment. And then on the inner side of the arm, which you can't see, oh my god. Is there even any difference between when the arm is raised and when it's lowered? There's, there's typical shoulder armor sticks above the joint itself. Whatever. But what is this? You can't even tell if the arm is up or not. Why is that so low? I don't get it. Well, to be fair, both Kureno and Ryuteo had the same thing. The arms would pivot in a different location from where the actual Voyager was located. So like the joint was actually located down here. So it pivoted in a weird place. But this is just stupid how low. It's like the joint is located at the elbow. Huh? Why? Nope. Nope. Okay, so you cannot pull it out and slide it down, and you cannot just simply pull down. Bandai and Plex, that would have been a nice thing. That would have been actual transformation. Just have the arm slide downwards. Or have them pull out and slide down a little bit. Click and then click. That would have been something. Lazy. Instead, it's this huge chunk that doesn't... Oh, by the way, if, as I mentioned a moment ago, if the forearm had been able to rotate as part of the transformation, you would have been able to hide this gap in the side here on the inner side. Like, instead of the gap being on the outside of the forearm, it'd be on the inner side where you don't see it as easily. Not only that, but you would actually have gotten an elbow swivel, a ratcheting elbow swivel of some kind. But no, they just decided to do that. No, by the way, the wings, solar panels, I guess, are attached to the forearms. I knew about that months ago when we found out about Gigant Phoenix. So why are these not attached on levers? I'm terrified of detaching this thing because, screw it. Why weren't the panels? Why are the panels attached to the forearms of all the places to attach them? You could have attached them to the back of the shoulders, which is where they should have been, or maybe to the outside of the shoulders. That could also have worked as well. So either location here, or you could have put it on a lever that would flip it, or that would have folded it outwards, or something like that. That was attached to kind of the bottom of the rib cage, which is what this is, the bottom of the side torso. That would have been a good place to attach it as well. Then, when it transforms, all you have to do is flip that lever around, or the articulating arm, flip it back, and then the wing would have been completely independent of this. Completely independent of the arm. But no, we've got these wings for some reason. Now, I know it's a phoenix and whatever, but... Okay, so it's turned off. Let's see how it responds if this is already attached and you turn it on. It starts in this mode. Okay, whew. I was hoping, I don't want to have to transform the damn thing all over again just to get it into this mode again. By the way, what happened to holding down the button in order to change the modes? That was so convenient with the Kureno. So why didn't they do it here? If anything, you had more space because you have fewer LEDs. Blah, 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 blah. So there's the footsteps thing again, just like Kureno. A variation of the Super Galaxy from the Kureno. So it's slightly different. There's similar sounds in there, but there's also some different ones that they interblended old sounds from Kureno and new sounds for this one. They're blended together. So there's only 3 sound effects. Okay, now I want the swords to come off. I can understand it having wings, but usually you don't want to have wings attached to the forearm. That's usually, and you don't want to have main wings. The main lifting the lifting surface of the vehicle, the aircraft, you usually don't, when it transforms, you don't want them attached here. 9 times out of 10, that's a bad thing, because it either hangs down this way, or it sticks out to the side like that, with this. So why these were not attached why they were not attached to the actual torso rather than to the forearm, either attach it to the shoulder, or attach it to the back of the side torso. Either one of those would have been completely appropriate. Maybe I can salvage this by doing this. That looks better. But still, the wings should be visible at all times. This is that whole, for you Gundam fans out there, this is basically what they did with the Togis 1, 2, 3, where it's not that those big, the primary vernier engines were attached to the, they weren't attached to the torso, they were actually attached to the back of the shoulder. So when the shoulder moves, the engine moves along with it, which was the stupidest thing I've ever said. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. I've said stupid things before, but that was not one of them. Or was it? I can't tell. So anyways, yeah. For my own sanity, I might just store it that way. Oh, and it's also easier to get to the swords, because if they're down here like this, well then, gee, thanks. Pull them all the way? No. And again, because they didn't move where the shoulder joint is located, the shoulders, you can't even tell where the arm stops and the torso begins if you look at it from above. It's so minimal. Oops, what happened here? See, can you tell the difference? Not really. It's the same, the torso is the same thickness as the arm. God, that scared me. Bird just flew past the window. Okay. Now keep in mind, I knew all of these things when I placed the order last week. I knew these things were issues. So none of this is a surprise at this point. That doesn't mean I'm not allowed to still dislike it at this point. Is it as bad as Ryu Teo and the kind of clumsiness that it is? Ask me again at the end of the video. There's no pose I can get. Is he just really chubby? Is he kind of doing this? Because that's what it looks like. He's just holding his sword like this. It's not even that the arm is out here like this, like it's actually reaching from something. All they had to do was have an extendable forearm, maybe even have the shoulder slide forward a little bit, because it is slightly off center. Actually, it's very off center. And the sad thing about it is Bandai Plex Toei, they used to do that, where they would have shoulders that slide forward and back and, extending, they used to do that on a regular basis. This is plumb lazy. Very, very lazy. Oh, and by the way, there's also this thing. Now, that's not to say that Super Sentai Robos haven't had their combiner and accessory kibble not attached somewhere on the figure itself. If you look at the Dragon Caesar, which was one of the early Power Ranger examples, the Dragon Zord, it had stuff that was left behind. You didn't use it in every mode. So I just like the fact that at least it has a function outside of just, oh, by the way, it's used for the combined form. So at least they tried to do something with it. It doesn't do much, but it is something. It is there. So, okay. No surprise for me yet. Unless I miss my guess, in terms of individual piloted mecha, or immediate accessory mecha, such as these 3 in the front here, I'm trying to think of the last time there were 12 individual mecha piloted by Rangers, and the only one, I'm thinking of Engino G12, which, yes, had accessories, but each and every one of them, with the exception of, the trains. Can't think of what the 3 trains were called. Anyways, they did not have individual pilots. And technically, Gigant Ho-Oh is a oh, what's it called? It's 3 vehicles in one, even though only 2 of them connect together to form this thing. So there's 12 mecha right here. And then I've got Samurai Hao, which was 5, 6, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mecha. Then Engine OG 12. Last year with Voyager, there were only 10 mecha, and the little accessory mecha, I don't count those. Those don't count because I don't count those. Let's see, what was the one before Voyager? Kyoryuger. What came of Kyoryuger? I don't think they had 12 mecha. So, this is quite a few mecha. And I haven't collected this many at one time from a single series for quite some time. Shinkenger is probably the oldest example I've got. I think the most numerous one to this day remains Gaoranger with the power animals. I think there were, is it 20-something power animals that were released, including minor repaints? Because, there was Gao God, which was a repaint of Gao King. There were 2 bears. There were 2 sharks. Well, there were 3 sharks. So, yeah, I mean, it gets a little confusing where you want to draw that line of how many original mechas came out that were not just simple, not just simple remold repaints. But I think that Gaoranger retains the record. I think it's 24 or 25 power animals. Something like that. Oh boy, here we go. I don't think it'll hurt much if you flip them like this and tilt them at an angle, but they are designed to sit like this. So it doesn't really matter which foot goes on which side. It doesn't matter, but if they naturally tilt like this, then that's the direction you're supposed to point them. Ah, and there goes the sword again. And it's not just one sword that does it, they both do it. What? The picture shows that the hands on Gigant Ho-Oh are still folded out. I'm saying Ho-Oh a lot more than I thought I would. That whole disclaimer thing I did at the beginning, disregard. Why would the hands be open? They're not even gripping anything. This is so stupid. They tell you that in order to make Q-Tamajin, you're supposed to leave these folded out. Why? Well, the hands don't even get used, so screw that noise. Damn it. Oh! I wonder why they did that. It's a red LED. Why wouldn't they just make it clear? Worst Nightmare Part 2. You remember those piece of shit, these things, the pegs I had to deal with Ryu Kirano? Putting the helmet pegging on there? Well, goddammit, I have to do it again. Only this time they're actually half pins. They're not actual full pins. They're half pegs. They're crescent shaped, which means they're more likely to pop off. As soon as I said that, I was proved wrong because this actually has PVC pegs, which helps with friction. Is that going to come off? No, it's not going to come off at all. Well, that's good. I hesitate to say they fixed the problem because, I mean, it's not like they didn't release Ryuteo and... Why didn't they paint the little? They've been so good with it lately. They paint the exposed framework or whatever it is, where the QTOM ordinarily has the framework on this side, but not on this side. So they're usually good about painting this side. For whatever reason, they didn't do it here. Why not? Oh, I totally forgot to look for asymmetrical paint details on Gigant Ho-Oh. So here's a mystery solved. When I did my first impressions of the Q Ranger Wave 4 stuff that had the oh gosh, I forgot what it's called, the Kojishi Voyager and the Orion Battler. When I did that in a different video, I couldn't figure out how it is that the Kojishi Voyager could get its helmet onto Super Kurino and also Super Shishi Voyager. I couldn't figure it out because, like, well, how does it fit on there? Could you turn the head? Could you turn the head around and then fit it on? No, you can't do that. I couldn't figure it out because, like, I'm turning this in all manner of directions. Like, well, how does it fit? Well, as it turns out, you can remove the face of the Shishi Voyager, which I did not know until a week ago. Like, I was like, it just rotates, okay, whatever, but huh? Whoa. Maybe it should have clicked for me the fact that all the screw holes are on the back. Maybe that should have clued me into how it was put together, but I didn't even think about it that way, so, like, whatever. And then, finally, if I'm not much mistaken, which is a nice little bit where there's a tab on the top here, and when you push down, the face folds down all by itself. That's a nice touch. That's a nice Super Sentai thing to do. And here we have Q Tamajin. I think. They're done? Are these up or down? Yeah, they go down. Screw that noise. Does it look better up or down? I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Now that is a super combiner. Can the shoulders hold on? Yes, they can. They actually can hold the weight. Not that the other Voyagers, like the Okami, the Ushi, and Kuma Voyagers were that heavy. They weren't that heavy, so it's understandable that the shoulder joints could handle that weight. It's a non-issue. I hesitate to say the Super Sentai equivalent of Gurren Lagann, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, but that would be kind of heretical considering how awesome that show is and how block formery friendly this thing is. There's a little Shishi Voyager with his head sticking out. By the way, the battery is still on right now, so. Oh, look, I forgot to put the face down. Gee, imagine that. Okay. And its sound effects are thus. It still thinks it's Gigant Ho-Oh. Wonderful. Well, what happens if I hold it down? There we go. Okay. I kept hoping that Kurino would have like and I said it when I reviewed the Ryutei. I was hoping that there would be hidden buttons on the back that would trigger when you attach something to the back. Like there would be a specific peg on the back on the front. I guess it'd be in the front of Ryutei that would push in on it, and then it would trigger special sound effects inside of Kirino for Ryutei Kirino sound effects. Like it would be like a key unlocking new sound effects. They didn't do that. And again, I was hoping they'd do it with Gigant Phoenix, but again, they didn't do it. Maybe, hindsight being 2020, maybe it's to prevent hacking of the toys, where you can push down this peg, like stick a screwdriver in there or something, and then press the button, and oh look, you've unlocked the sound effect without actually getting the toy. Maybe that's why they did it that way. Maybe. In any event, it is really, really difficult to get in here and press on the crotch of Gigant Ho-Oh. I'm guessing that's the same sound as Gigant Ho-Oh walking. Really? So, if you hold it down one time, it'll do Q-Tomijin, but if you press it individually after that, it'll go back to Gigant Ho-Oh. Well, shouldn't it already know that I've held down the button? Because with Kirino, it knew when you hold down the button, oh, okay, I got a mode change to this specific set of sound effects, and then they would cycle over. But for whatever reason, on Gigant Ho-Oh, they're not. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, wow. There is one dedicated sound effect for Q-Tomijin. There is one. What the crap, Plex? What the crap? I mean, it made sense. The programming with Qreno, that made sense. But then you completely changed it with Gigant Ho-Oh. The innards work differently. I thought that the way this worked was just fine. I thought it was great. I was like, okay, press this and okay. So you have to press and hold it down. Big flippin' deal, whatever. But now I press it once and it gives me Q-Tomijin's combination. You press and hold it down again and it just repeats. Huh? What? Oh, on top of which, it is really difficult to press down on the crotch of Gigant Ho-Oh when it's in here. Like, there's very little room. Should it have been flipped around? Should, Gigant Ho-Oh have been attached differently? An argument could be made, but I'll leave it alone. And that being said, I'm pretty certain that Qreno itself doesn't do anything different. Yes, 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 yes.
Qreno! Go! Boys, Qreno!
In other words, no, it doesn't change anything. Qreno doesn't change its sound effects. I wish it would, so that you could get these to light up. Maybe have the two individual toys talking to each other, or maybe have a peg that pushes in on a hidden button. A peg that pushes in on a hidden button on the inside of Q Renault that tells it, oh, okay, it's time to make Q Tamajin sound effects. They should have done that. No, instead they gave us a stupid roulette thing, which, again, asking again, could somebody please tell me how the roulette thing works? Because I don't get it. Like, I've asked a number of people, and none of them have gotten back to me. How's the roulette thing work? I don't get it. Do you win at the game? Do you lose at the game? Like, is it even a game where you just press on it because it's cute? I don't know. It's not like Super Sentai hasn't had electronic built-in games where, you know, it wasn't related specifically to the mecha, it wasn't related specifically to the show. It was just a game that Plex and Bandai threw in there just because it's a toy for kids, you know. But since I can't speak or read Japanese, or understand Japanese, you know, the instructions are kind of useless in terms of how these games work. Did I turn this off? Yeah, I did. The series, as you progress, it's not that you lose the functionality that you started out with, which is a thing that Super Sentai is very well known for, especially in the last 10 years, where you start out with a gimmick that works in the primary, you know, the first wave combining mecha. That does a thing, and then the next release, the secondary robot or the auxiliary mecha or whatever they are, those do a completely different thing that just leaves the primary mecha out in the cold. Of course, if you don't have the primary mecha, then, you know, you can't combine with anything later on. And then the ultimate combined form does something completely different. So far, Q Ranger is kind of avoiding that pitfall. Kind of. The fact that they don't interact with each other, it's inconvenient, but I can live with it. It's understandable to a degree. But, I don't know. It was not enough to not have me get these. I'll put it that way. Like, I still got them, and I don't regret it that badly. Yet. And I'm only saying that, you know, half hour, 45 minutes after I've opened the package. And, you know, a week after I put, was it $70, $80 into the item plus shipping and handling or whatever it was. So, like, the regrets have not sinked in quite yet. Should I say hit and miss with Gigant Phoenix? But, there's our second Super Combined form. Doesn't look too bad. It is. I kind of like this. I do. It's neat. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have gotten it. Although I've said that before about crap that I've gotten, so, you know. Okay. And so, this is Unit 4A saying thanks for tuning in.